So, hello everyone. I'm thrilled to be here today to walk you through an exciting demo about building SharePoint Agents Finder as a declarative agent. So before we dive in, let me briefly introduce myself. I am Mohammed, a Microsoft 365 and SharePoint developer, and currently a tech lead at Atia Global Services. I'm deeply passionate about building impactful solutions for Microsoft 365 and giving back to the community through open source contributions, community talks, and blog posts. Feel free to connect with me through the social links on the slide. You will find my GitHub samples and my blog there as well. So the agenda for today is going to be about the challenge that I faced and the solution, how I find a solution for the challenge, the prerequisites for my solution, and talking deep about the SharePoint Agents Finder agent, plugin, and setup, and then demo and exploring the code and some references. The challenge. Let me ask you first, how many of you have tried to maybe get Copilot to list all the SharePoint agents on a site? I mean, have you tried to build a prompt to list all SharePoint agents on a site? If you have struggled, then you are definitely not alone. I hit the same wall, and unfortunately, Copilot just couldn't seem to retrieve the information about SharePoint agents in SharePoint sites. The solution. The solution that I found was if, or instead of asking the Copilot to retrieve the agents in SharePoint site, I thought of using a more powerful way to find these files. That's where the Microsoft Graph API comes in. We can leverage the Microsoft Graph API as a Copilot plugin to bring that and to bridge the gap and being able to retrieve information about the SharePoint agents in a site. By simply telling the Graph API to look for the files with those extensions .agent or .copilot, we can discover all our SharePoint agents. And this technique is not just for agents. It could be also used to retrieve files across all your SharePoint sites. I would like to thank Frank. He is one of the presenters today because one of his articles was the inspiration for me to think about how to solve this issue. He did an amazing blog post explaining how to use Microsoft Graph Search as a Copilot plugin. And this is from where I started to think the same and use the Graph API, but to retrieve the SharePoint agents. There are, of course, some prerequisites. And we have here two main prerequisites. The first is creating the Entra ID app registration that should have Graph API permission, Files.Read.All as delegated permissions. We should save the client ID, client secret, tenant ID somewhere because we are going to use these three in another place in the Microsoft Teams developer portal. And when we create this intra app registration, we should add this URL in the slide to be a redirect URL for web platform in the authentication settings for our Entra ID. Second prerequisites will be in the Teams developer portal. This is the URL. How can you explore the Teams developer portal? We should create a new authentication client registration and register a new client with the following information. Registration name, you can give it any name. This is the name of my agent, and the base URL should be the Microsoft Graph endpoint, and restrict usage by organization should be my organization only. Restrict usage by app. At the beginning, you can set it to be Teams app, and when your agent is deployed, you can limit or make it to be use your Teams app ID. After we create the authentication registration in the Teams developer portal, we will have to add the client ID, client secret that we obtained in the previous step of creating Azure app registration, plus adding these three URLs, the authorization endpoint, token endpoint, and refresh endpoint. And remember to replace the tenant ID with your tenant. This is important here in these three endpoints. The scope should be Files.Read.All. After saving the information, we will obtain a new authentication registration key, and we will need this key in the agent, and we should add this key later on in the .env.dev file in our agent. So let's talk about a bit about the SharePoint Agents Finder agent plugin and setup. The SharePoint Agents Finder leverages the Microsoft Graph API as a Copilot plugin within a declarative agent. It utilizes the Microsoft Graph Search API endpoint to effectively retrieve information about SharePoint agents within Microsoft 365. This empowers the end users and IT admins to quickly access details on the SharePoint agents, or maybe locate specific files in Microsoft 365 directly through the Copilot chat interface. We should keep in our mind that Microsoft Graph OpenAPI specification file is essential for our plugin to function. For our specific use case, we are going to use the Microsoft Graph search query endpoint. This is the only relevant endpoint that we are going to use. That's why when we download the Microsoft Graph Search OpenAPI specification file, it is huge. We should extract and prepare the relevant information only. And in our Git repo for this agent, you will find the ready specification file with the extracted and prepared operation that we are going to need. After that, from this OpenAPI specification file, we should generate the Copilot plugin. In order to do that, there is an awesome VS Code extension. Maybe many of you have heard about it. It is Kiota tool or VS extension, it will help us to achieve that, generate the Copilot plugin information. We'll show you that in few minutes. And once we have the Copilot plugin, then we should import the plugin, the generated Copilot plugin with Microsoft 365 Agent Toolkit in order to be used in our agent. Let's go to a quick demo and exploring the code. So yeah, as we explained, in the API, in the APIs folder, we have two YAML files. The one that contains all the operations of Microsoft Graph OpenAPI specification and the required operations in our use case only. So this one is the one that simplified and contain the required operation in our use case. Yeah, it is this one. So we are going to use the this one by Kiota VS Code extension to generate our plugin. And for our plugin, we have two files. The first one is the description for our plugin and the manifest file for our plugin. You can see here that it contains the conversation starter, the functions that will be used in our agent, and some other references. Once we generate the plugin information using Kiota VS Code extension, we should import the plugin in our agent using the Microsoft 365 Agents Toolkit. This option is this option is available here by adding an action. Once we do that, or in my blog post, you will see detailed screenshots on how to add the plugin, import the plugin into our agent, because it is many steps in order to generate it properly in your agent. So we'll share with you shortly the blog post that has all these details. Once you import this plugin into your agent, you will have these files, or let's say folder. In this folder, you will have the OpenAPI YAML file and the AI plugin. In this file, you will have to change the tenant ID into your tenant and also add the scope Files.Read.All. This is important for the plugin in order to function with the agent. And this is the key that I mentioned 1 minute ago that we should obtain from Microsoft Teams developer portal. We should add it also the key here in the env.dev file. And in the instruction, we are here explaining to our agent to utilize the plugin along with the body of our query to Microsoft Graph in order to look for our agents in SharePoint, as you see here. And we will pass a query or keyword that will be added here to the body of our request for Microsoft Graph using the Copilot plugin in order to retrieve the information about our SharePoint agents from SharePoint. And here in our agent, declarative agent, this information will be defined once we import the plugin. So this is just, I wanted to explain here that this file declarative agent will be updated once we import the plugin. It will contain this action one, because this represents the plugin that we just import in our agent. And this is the conversation starter that we will see once we launch our agent. Let's next have a quick demo and see how our agent will function and if it will retrieve something for us or not. Now I'm asking our agent to retrieve something or search for an agent. I'm confirming that this query will run, but I don't think that it will be able to retrieve something because we don't have an agent with this name. So let's see. Well, yeah, it was able to retrieve a few agents, as you see in a table. And if we open this file, then we will be able to see the agent in SharePoint. Yeah, so that was the very quick how to find the agents in SharePoint using Microsoft Declarative Agent. And these are the blog post and repos. Feel free to contribute or ask questions about these agents, and yeah, also the specification file. And thank you